So let's come back to that idea of agenda building in open spaces. Quick show of hands, how many people have participated in open spaces before? Okay, great. So we'll call it about half of the room has done open spaces before. So I'm going to describe open spaces to you a little bit right now, just to get you in the headspace. But I want to warn you first. As I describe it to you, I know the thoughts that are going to go through your head. Those thoughts are going to be, this sounds ridiculous. This feels like it's not, why am I here? This isn't going to work. I just ask you to take a leap of faith with me and trust that it's going to work and it's going to be awesome. And why open spaces? Here's why open spaces. I think if you look at why open spaces as an organizing mechanism is what it is, it really comes back to those initial conditions. What are the conditions that make for good open spaces? And I think if you look at this list, you're going to see all of us reflected here. We have a business issue, a real business issue that's worth talking about. That business issue surrounds how do we help our teams get better? How do we help our organizations use technology to further the outcomes of our business while maintaining the health and well-being of our employees? This is a real business issue that matters. It also has mind-numbing complexity. In fact, the answer to that question, how do you help your organization use technology better, keep your employees happy and productive, that is different for each and every one of you. In fact, it's different even from one team to the next within your own organization. This is mind-numbing complexity. What we have, again, in this next bullet, lots of diversity. And that diversity, the diversity of the voices, the people, the experiences that we have in this room are what is required for us to actually come to some sort of resolution. And the truth is, I think we all know this, there isn't actually a resolution. This is a journey. It's a journey of continuous improvement. How do we help and support each other along that journey? Because one of the things that we know about a journey is that there will be setbacks. You are going to fall into some pitfalls. Maybe collectively, we can warn each other about pitfalls that might lie ahead, help each other avoid those pitfalls, and when we do fall in, help each other out. The next one, much passion, potential conflict, and we genuinely care about the issue. You're here at 9 a.m. on a Monday morning. All right, passion, check. Conflict. Will there be conflict in the room? Probably. We will definitely have differing opinions about things. We, this year, introduced a DORA core model that lists out some of the capabilities that we have decided are in core. I've already had conversations this morning about, wait, my favorite capability didn't make it into core. What's going on? It's a great thing for us to talk about later today. So we're genuinely passionate about this. We have potential conflict. Of course, with conflict, we do want to make sure that we're maintaining the good code of conduct. We're following the good code of conduct. We're treating each other with respect and dignity that we all deserve. And we're letting all of the voices be heard. And finally, why open spaces? Because there's a real sense of urgency. We don't want to transform our businesses. We don't want to use technology to drive our organizational outcomes. We have to. We have to do that. There is an existential crisis in order for our teams and our organizations to get better, to stay competitive in this market, to accommodate all of the changing conditions all of the time, new technologies coming in, economic conditions fighting against us. We have to be able to change. We have to do this yesterday. And the truth is, I don't know what's bad out there on the horizon or what's good out there on the horizon. But every muscle that we build today to help us as an organization become more resilient, more responsive, more changeable, all of that is going to help us in the future. And so this is a real problem and challenge for us. And we together can learn and share with one another and come up with something closer to answers. So this is why we selected open spaces as the way to organize this. This is where it gets really fun and interesting. This is where we, the organizers, turn over the conference to you. So we talked about the initial conditions, some of the expected outcomes. If the initial conditions are how we are today, what do we hope to get out of this? First and foremost, we want to talk about, over the next couple of hours, the topics that are most important to the people that are in this room. This is why we can't build the agenda in advance. We don't know what's going to be most important today to all of you. We also recognize that we have here, collected in this room, the participants that are best capable of coming up with and getting something done about this problem that we have, about this area of interest that we want to deeply investigate. As you go into these open space discussions, I want to encourage you to think not just about what are we going to talk about, but more importantly, what are we going to do next? What are the next steps that you are going to take? What are you going to take back to your team? What are you going to put into practice following today's conversations? If there's time, you should prioritize some of those things, maybe even just internally for yourself. But our goal here at the end of this is that you should actually feel super engaged and energized, not just about the conversations that we've had, but about the connections you're able to make here this morning, connections that you'll be able to carry with you at least over the next 3 days while we stay here at the DevOps Enterprise Summit, but then certainly beyond that as well. So how is it going to work? Well, in a moment, I'm going to invite each of you to come up and propose a topic. What sort of topic? I don't know. Here's the criteria that I would like you to follow if you want to propose a topic. It must be a topic that you are passionate enough about to start a conversation. I don't expect you to be an expert. That topic might be a question that you have. That topic may have been inspired by something that you heard from Nicole earlier today, or it may be something that you really wanted to talk about when you walked in the room this morning. Any topic is open. So you'll come up, you'll propose a topic. The way that you will propose a topic, you have Post-its on your table. They've just been distributed, I believe. You'll write your topic on the Post-it. You'll come up, we'll give you a mic, and you'll announce what your topic is. And then you're going to put your topic over on the wall over there. Amanda will be helping to arrange things into a schedule. Now, I recognize that there are probably some people in this room who I just made super uncomfortable. I have a topic that I'd like to propose, and he just told me I have to come and stand in front of the room with a microphone and speak into that microphone. If that is a thing that bubbles up all of the anxiety in you, such that you're not even listening to me anymore, don't worry. Steve will be happy to take your topic. You can whisper it in his ear. No one else has to hear it. And he will come up and propose your topic for you. So if Steve comes up and proposes 17 topics, it's not because Steve has 17 ideas. He might. I don't know. As you hear the topics, I think you might be inspired to, oh, that's prompted a thought in my head. Let me add a topic. We're going to take as many topics as we can. Once we have all of the topics, we'll arrange them into a schedule. We have about 18 different groups that we can have. So we're doing 3 rounds of discussions with 6 spaces for those groups. We're going to do space 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, I think. I think that's how it works, but we'll sort it all out. All right, so once we've arranged the schedule, here's what you have to do. Here's what you get to do. You get to decide which conversation do you want to go to. And importantly, you can pick as many as you like. You don't necessarily have to stay at one of the conversations. So we have some principles, and we have one law that I just want to cover quickly. And like all good technologists, I've liberated this slide from someone else. So you can see here, this was used at DevOps Days Amsterdam. DevOps Days, if you've never been to a DevOps Days, it's heavily, open spaces are heavily featured there. So a couple of principles. First, whoever comes are the right people. So whoever shows up for your discussion, those are the people that were meant to be there today. Following along with that, whatever happens is the only thing that could have happened. This is an encouragement to not sit around and lament, like, oh, if only Nicole had been here, we could have actually solved this. No, you're the right ones to solve the problem. Solve the problem, have the discussion, take advantage of that time. When it's over, it's over. When the discussion ends, just stop. We have very short discussion blocks, about 25 minutes per discussion, so it might not go the full 25 minutes. Don't feel like you have to do the time, just do the work. And when it starts is the right time. This is a weird principle because we're going to give you a schedule, and so you should start the conversation when the schedule says, but also that's the right time. So there we go. And wherever it happens is the right place also. Wherever it happens is the right place. I just told you there's going to be 6 places. Maybe the topic you proposed didn't end up in one of those 6 places, but you found someone else who's really interested in that topic. I'm not the boss of you. You can walk out in the hall and have that conversation. This is really, we're trying to encourage as much idea sharing and information as possible. And in order to encourage that, we do have one law. And that law is called the law of mobility. And this is what the law of mobility states. If you find yourself in a conversation where you're neither giving something to that conversation nor getting something from that conversation, it is your responsibility to obey the law of mobility and leave that conversation. Go somewhere else where you will be able to either give some input or take something out of that. In other words, for the next couple of hours, you will get out of this exactly what you put into it. I think it's really a powerful thing, and by explicitly calling out the law of mobility, we all can recognize that if someone gets up and leaves, we don't have to be angry at that person. It's completely, in fact, it's expected. All right, so the TLDR. You're going to propose topics. If you have a topic that you're thinking of, you've already written it on a Post-it note, you can start a line over here so that we can start announcing them. After the topics are proposed, we'll organize the schedule, we'll discuss, you'll go into the groups, have those discussions. We have some sheets that will help you capture ahas, key takeaways, insights that you have. Participate. You'll get in what you put out, and liberally apply the law of mobility. If you're not getting or getting, just go somewhere else. And I like to just sort of sum up the law of mobility and the whole purpose of open spaces with a quote from the original godfather of DevOps, music producer Rick Rubin. If you're listening or speaking, either way, you're participating in the conversation. As we go into these conversations, we want to make sure that every voice is heard. But maybe you don't want to say anything. Listening is a form of active participation, and we will recognize that. So with that, I have one question for you. Who wants to propose the second topic?